Hey guys, this is Wolf Atlas here, bringing you another episode of War Divisions, and I just wanted to talk about an addition to the game that recently was added with this anniversary, and that's these element challenge missions that pretty much will allow any player, new or old, to be able to instant level MR unit to level 99. And I think this is a great addition to the game because now it's giving players opportunities to level up an MR unit without having the need to quote unquote waste mats on them. Because a lot of players felt that the mats are too shared and they should do something to lower the mats, um, or make it easier to level up MR units. And I think this is a great way of doing it. Now, this only gets you a unit to level 99, and it is up to you, the player, to decide if you want to EX them, which is going to require blossoms to further upgrade them and go for there. And I don't think the developers are going to change that method anytime soon. But just so you can see here, when you clear the first selection quest of whatever element, you're going to get 500 charge of your choice, along with cubes to level them up, and all these other mats that are going to help you level them up to level 99. If nothing else, this is also the way you can see this is that you're getting a free Trustmaster reward for each element. And because we have the ruin system, that's something that you can consider doing with these missions if you don't wish to use the MR units in any way. But I do have to say, like, MR units are pretty fun, and they're very versatile, just like UR units. A lot of them do work well in PvP, but they shine the best in certain PvE aspects like tower and certain other PvP quests. Like I use them in Nightmare quests for the challenge, but that's just me personally. And I do have my own goal of to EXing all MR units, and I hope to reach that goal one day. The only MR unit I am missing is Mystadio, so Gumi, when is Final Fantasy Tactics returning so I could get him? But enough of that. I just wanted to go over how to go about what do you want this how to go about deciding what unit to take to level 99. And there's several ways you can go about it. Uh, so when you're looking at a unit, so let's take Alar here. You pretty much can see everything about the unit just on this screen alone. You're going to be able to look at their stats, their resistances. As some of these might be skewed because based on their passives that they might gain while leveling up. You get to see their Trustmaster reward, which I think would be one of the most important decisions if deciding what MR units you want to take to level 99, because with the Trust Stones, you can enhance these rewards even further and make them very viable. But another thing you could look at is their kit. So when you go to their ability grid, a lot of these are going to be X'd out when they're level 1, but you're still allowed to click on them to see what each would do. And then if the unit has an EX upgrade, that's also going to be visible for anyone to see. And this might actually help you sway what units you want to take to EX in the future. It doesn't have to be right away, but just by looking at their enhancement, usually from a support and from one of their attacks, that can help you decide how the unit's supposed to function or what the unit's gonna do. So for instance here, Aldalar, when you upgrade his initial AP up, he gets enhanced AP buff and also raises his magic as well. So he's gonna get even more AP on start, and he's gonna have more magic. On top of that, his Jamming Thrust is gonna have an additional ability that prevents reaction abilities from activating for 3 turns, which is a really huge deal, especially in PvP aspects when reflex is the thing and can cost the match. So it's something to consider. And then you want to look at their 120 skill on top of that. This doesn't mean you have to go to the 120 skill, but just looking at it would help you decide, hey, maybe I want to take this unit to level 99 and then eventually to 120, or go straight to 120 right away. So for example, for Aldalar, he gains Fariga, a specialized Fariga that also breaks enemies' magic attack for 3 turns. And if you since this is attack, you can look at the details here, and it gives you the range, so it gives you an idea of how far it can go, and then you can decide from there. Now, there's not a lot of videos out there that do display MR units on the field. I'm personally trying to change that. That's why I do my MR video reviews. However, I do admit that they're on the long side, and I am trying to work on trying to make them shorter. But I also want them to be as informative and based off of my experience mainly, because a lot of times players will get information solely based on what they see on sites, what they see on spreadsheets and data, and they'll decide from there. And sometimes I don't think that always is the case for units to decide what how to level up a unit or how to use units, because data sheets and stuff like that aren't going to tell you how the AI works for the unit, for example. But yeah, that I suggest, if you're a new player, you just take the time to just look at your MR units and look to see what they offer, what their Trust Master rewards, stuff like that. I also will say that there are cases where some MR units might seem useless. However, since this game is constantly evolving and they're always updating lower rarity units or units in general, what a unit that might not be so good now might actually be good in the future. So it's something to keep in mind. And overall, even with everything I said, if you have a favorite unit based on the story, how they look, or if it's from your favorite element or whatever, if it's your favorite, then level them up. Why not? It's your favorite. You're going to use it. You're going to have fun with the game. And that's the whole point that you want in the end. You want to have fun with the game. You don't want to be strict or restricted on things. So, like, for example, Durando is one of my favorite MR units, and I instantly leveled him up to 120. I don't care what anyone says about him, but I do enjoy playing with him. He's not easy to use, but with his 3 different attack types and his great attack power, he even has his own card. He's been working great for me. So there's that. Or Etra here, she's not part of the list, but she was a free MR unit, and they gave you all her shards to take her to 99 and to 120, and a lot of people wrote her off, and I think she's a great MR unit, especially one that was given out for free. So is this something to keep in mind when you're thinking about MR units and which one to level up? Like some of these are actually great. If I had to choose, if I did have to choose myself, I would go with my personal favorites, or I'll just look at their tree to decide. That's how I'm going about with these 120s on how to, which ones I want to take to 120 first, and then try to go about there, because I blossoms are a thing. I can't instantly 120 all of them at once. So I'm just taking my time, and then when I do my videos, I take even further time because I want to see how they work in the battlefield and really look deep into how they work. And again, if you don't have favorites, you still don't know what to pick, then I'm going to take a page from Cabbage himself and say go with tanks, because tanks are good all around. And when you EX the tank MRs, they become pseudo URs or UR level type tanks. Like Nasha here, for example, becomes a really great tank at 120. Dario here is an awesome tank at 120. He could do both physical and magic. Even Mont just recently got an update to his master ability that gave him 5 hate at the start of battle without even him doing anything else. He became a better tank. So, if nothing else, then go with tanks. If a class doesn't have a tank, I think every element has a tank. Let me see. Okay, fire doesn't have an MR tank. Ice does. Dario, Mont. Well, Mont's not one of those choices, so don't use it on Mont. Varius is a tank for lightning. Ramonda is your only choice for MRs for the selection ticket. You can choose SR below, but I don't recommend doing that. I recommend using those shard tickets for the MR units only. That's what my recommendation is. And Ramonda here can be a magic tank because she has access to Spellblade. And she can build up her magic resistance pretty well. The tank in light will be Marielle, because she's a magic tank as well. And then Dark's tank is Titus, which I've been having fun using him. But yeah, there you go. And just for the hell of it, I do have my personal picks if I were to do this. As you can see, those tickets are not going to work for me too well, but I'm going to look at which elements I'm missing Mind Spears for and then pick them. Well, like Livial is probably my only choice for Earth, or Lorenzo, one of those two. But that's what I'm going to do, and that's going to help me level up EX some of these a bit quicker. But for a personal pick, this is just personal take. Again, pick whoever you want, or go with tanks, or go with your favorites. But here are my personal picks for each element. Marguerite for fire, because she has something interesting in her level 120 skill, and that's with her speed cast enhancement. It raises the activation of Berserk, and she gains a 120 skill that not only lowers spirit, but it has a chance of inflicting Berserk. And if you're a person that used King Mont a lot, you know how effective Berserk can be in battle. So that's my personal favorite for fire. I'm definitely going to have her level up pretty soon. I just missing some Mind Spear. For ice, my personal pick is Curry, because I love the fact that he has a range frostbite. So when we go to his 120 skill, It's his barrage enhancement. There you go. It turns barrage enhancement into a frostbite infliction, and even lowers the consumption of barrage. So he could pretty much spam barrage easier than other rangers. And I kind of like this because frostbite is one of those status conditions that can change the tide of battle. So that's my personal pick for ice. For wind, it's kind of hard, but I've fallen in love with Helena's enhancements, using her often in my teams, because her 120 skill, I think it's a 120 skill. No, I haven't locked on 120 skill. That skill I don't see as useful. It's her Aurora. I am butchering that name. I'm sorry. It has no activation time. It raises defense, wind resistance, and earth resistance for 3 turns. And I think that's an awesome enhancement to give to a green mage. And because she has access to Emerald Echo, it's going to last for 4 turns instead of 3. So I've been having lots of fun with that. Of course, I haven't really got this because I really don't think this is useful right now. But more on that when I review Helena. But that's my personal favorite for Wind. Earth, Durando. Personal favorite. I just love him. I love him so much. Lightning, my personal favorite, I have to go with Salia. Because I think she's gonna, like, I'm working on her, almost done. But I think she's gonna be a really hard-hitting MR mage, but very squishy. But I looked at her flare enhancement, and it pretty much says no to reaction abilities, and it's gonna do a lot of damage. So it's pretty much putting a stop to magic tanks that have magic guard, and it's gonna make sure that flare just does that much damage. So I do like that, and I do like her level 120 skill because it lowers unit attack resistance, which you don't see too often. There's some newer units that are having that, but in MR unit status, you don't see that anywhere. So that's my personal pick for Salir. Ramada is your only choice for MR for the selection quest, like I said before. So by default, I had to pick her. But she's really, really good unit, especially when you have her card equip. So just, I haven't really looked at her yet, but she can also be that kind of unit that doesn't want to get attacked. So she's very flexible, that's for sure. That's what I remember about her. Like, she can be a tank, she can be a damage dealer, or she can be a unit that says, I don't want to be touched, so leave me alone. So that's good. Fina is my personal favorite for light. I just love Fina, and I'm hoping Dark Fina comes to this game as well. And then for Dark, my personal favorite is Titus. A lot of players gave him flack for him having weakness to slash and magic, but I found so much success with him throughout the time I've been using him, and he works so well against comps that are missile heavy or pierce heavy, and it's just hard for enemies to take him down. Now, yeah, the slash and magic is an obstacle, but now that we have the trust system, the trust zone system, and the double VC system, I think he's gonna become an even better tank, because now I could fill in slots to help mitigate those roles. But yeah, that would do it for me. I hope this video was insightful. In the end, again, just choose whatever you want. You can't go wrong with any unit. The only thing I suggest is just use those shard tickets on MR units, because that's the best value you're going to get out of it. Other than that, see you guys next time. Laters.